The most powerful word in the English language only has 3 letters: ask. We can all influence people in a really positive way if we kind of just step out of the shadow and be seen and be heard.
Hello and welcome. It's great to be with you. So great to be here this morning in the True Voice with Dr. Fred podcast. And today we're having another episode, really speaking to the power of the We the People Summit that's coming right around the corner. So I've amassed some amazing people, amazing influencers from around the world who have made their name as to someone that people listen to, someone that people look up to, someone that people are influenced by. And today is not only no exception. This is an extraordinary human being that we have on our show today. Welcome, Dr. Bill Dorfman. Bill, it's so great to have you. Tell us a little bit, who are you and how did you get to be who you are? And is it true that you're an influencer? We hear that you are. Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, the easy question is, who am I professionally? It's a dentist. I started practicing dentistry almost 40 years ago, and my career has really taken me in a lot of different directions. Probably one of the biggest influences I had as a dentist was I invented Zoom, not video conference, Zoom tooth whitening. So I grew a company from zero to about $1.3 billion in sales over 20 years. And along the way, I had a lot of really amazing and exciting things happen. For instance, I was the dentist selected to be on ABC's hit show Extreme Makeover,
wow,
where we were able to show dentistry in a positive light for the first time. Dentistry was never in a positive light.
Dude, I don't have that much of a positive light now.
Yeah, well, Little Shop of Horrors, Marathon Man, on and on and on. But every Thursday night, I'm on TV showing the world all the beautiful things that we could do to make people healthy and look good and have confidence with their smile. So, that was huge for dentistry. And I got to be the conduit that did that. I wrote a New York Times best-selling book called $1 Billion Smile. It's the only book on dentistry that is a New York Times bestseller, and I'm the only dentist on the New York Times bestseller list.
Well, man.
So, I've done a lot of different things that most dentists never do. And I think as a result, I've been able to reach a lot of people. Because, you've helped me with this. I also started the LEAP Foundation, which is a nonprofit motivational leadership program for high school and college students that we do every summer. And I get amazing speakers. Every single time I've asked any of my high profile celebrities to come and speak at LEAP and really share their knowledge with these kids, they do it, and they do it for free. Richard Branson, Anthony Hopkins, Mark Wahlberg, Eva Longoria, Kathy Bates, Michael Strahan, Usher. I could go on and on and on and on and on. So your question is, what makes me an influencer? I think that just, taking all of the stuff that I've done and sharing that with people hopefully creates enough interest where people want to look and see, what I'm doing. I think I'm the only dentist in the world with 1.3 million followers on Instagram. And my Instagram is very specific. I focus on LEAP Foundation, helping students, motivate students, getting them, to go in the right direction. I focus on dentistry, where I'm teaching people what dentistry can do to improve their health and their appearance and their life. And I focus on fitness because I'm a huge fitness buff. Those are the 3 main things I focus on.
That's fabulous. So, underneath it all, so I really, first of all, thank you for being you, and thank you for LEAP, and thank you for being this amazing dentist who changes most people's attitude of what dentistry is. And really, thank you for being in such exquisite help. Maybe we're not going to be able to see it right now, but man, you do have some serious abs, just letting you know. And not so bad on the arms and the guns as well. Bill, underneath it all, you're really just a human being like all of us. And, you're here walking through this life, like, walking through this impermanent life, attempting and then succeeding in making a difference. What drew you to be part of this We the People Summit? The whole idea. What about this today had it be interesting for you?
Well, I mean, first of all, we talk about, your true voice. And I think that people are so afraid oftentimes to really speak and be heard. And, look, you may not have 1.3 million followers on Instagram, but maybe you're a mom or a dad with 5 kids or 2 kids or 1 kid. You're influencing people.
Exactly.
Everywhere you go, you're influencing people. And, I always tell my kids at Leap, you need to look in the mirror and like what you see. And if you like what you see, you need to let people in the world see that person too, and I think we can all influence people in a really positive way if we kind of just step out of the shadow and be seen and be heard.
That's awesome. That's exactly right. And We the People Summit is really about we the people. It's a fundraiser, Bill. We're raising a lot of money here for people who are these days, a little less, if not significantly less fortunate than most of us. People in war-torn areas such as Ukraine, Eastern Europe, and people have been disrupted, devastated, moved out of their homes, maybe lost loved ones, having their whole life turned upside down. We the People Summit is really committed to bringing some sort of strength and some sort of rebirth to those folks through donations, but also through being influencers in our world, in our community, and creating a space where being an influencer makes a difference. In your world of, making a difference in areas of life that matter, how have you found it that, who you get to be spreads over on other folks so that you, Bill Dorfman, who really does have, 1.3 Instagram followers, who really has built a few companies, who's really changed the face of dentistry and so many things that you've done, can in fact be an example or just another brother, another human member of this society trying to make a positive difference. What can the people learn from you, Billy Dorfman, let's say, the same Bill Dorfman who was not so long ago just a third grader or just a junior high student? Like, what can we learn about what does influence even feel like once you're making a difference?
I'll tell you where it really hits home with me, besides my kids, because that's an everyday thing. But, LEAP is a nonprofit motivational leadership foundation for kids. And we teach skills that we feel students need to know to be successful in life. And these are not skills that you're taught at school: time management, money management, study skills, public speaking, networking. But one of the ones that really hits home here is appreciation. We teach kids to express appreciation. And the way we do it is we give them a little pad of paper that's called I appreciate notes. The top of it says, I appreciate, then there's a blank line for you to put the person's name, and then a little area to write a paragraph or two about why you appreciate that person. So when Mark Wahlberg comes to speak at LEAP, kids will say, hey, I appreciate Mr. Mark Wahlberg because he took time out of his busy schedule and he came and blah, blah, blah. But where it really, really hits home for me is the last time we had a full LEAP program before the pandemic was in 2019. I had 450 kids in the program. At the end of the program, Fred, I got 450 I appreciate notes. And 99% of them started off like this. Hey, Dr. Bill, I appreciate you and the LEAP team because you changed my life.
That's amazing.
And I know we did. These kids walk out with a renewed self-confidence, with the skills that they need to be successful, and on and on. Now, I said 99%. 1% of the kids will say, hey, Dr. Bill, you saved my life. And kids are growing up today in a really, really difficult environment with social media and peer pressure and all this stuff. And, look, when you and I were kids, if somebody hated you, they just punched you. Today, they post it on social media and now the whole school hates you. It's way worse. I'd rather just get punched, you know?
Yep.
And so, there are kids that come into the LEAP program that feel lost, that feel desperate, that feel destitute, that feel like they have nobody or nothing in life to look forward to. And the first thing we do with these kids when we get them in the program is we do what I call the 10 talk. And the 10 talk is this. When you wake up every morning, you put a number on your forehead. 1's the lowest and 10's the highest. You don't think about it, but you do it. And I always reach out to the kids and I say, how many of you woke up this morning and did not put a 10 on your head? And they kind of sheepishly raise their hand. And then I look out and say, who picked the number? You. I said, wipe it off and put a 10 on there.
I love
this. And from now on, I want you to walk like a 10, talk like a 10, act like a 10, but most importantly, surround yourself with other students that are 10s.
I love it.
Because if you're trying to be a 10 and you're walking around with a bunch of 2s, guess what happens?
You really are only as good as the people you surround yourself with. I think that's what you're pointing to. And, you're surrounded in this particular summit, you're surrounded with some pretty serious rock stars that are here speaking along with you. Some of the people, are in the medal with us. And then there's others out there who are making huge differences in the areas of life that matter to them. And they've become influencers from just being regular people and remaining regular people and then becoming influencers. If the We the People Summit is as successful as you hope it is, and the fundraiser and the incentives to really get people to be influencers starting right now from 10, right? Like being a 10 and being an influencer, no matter what age, like making a difference with your one child or with your one friend or with your business partner or anything like that. If this is a successful summit, like over the top success, what kind of things would you like to see on the back end of this summit?
I mean, right now, the immediate crisis and the whole world's attention is focused on the Ukraine. If we can raise money to really help these people who are being maliciously attacked for no reason, I would be over the hill thrilled.
Well, we can do that. We are doing that, and you're a big part of that. What else is there for people to do you think? Because, some people, they'll have $1, they'll give $1. Some people have $50 or $100, they'll give that or even more or, whatever they can afford, whatever they find for themselves. But some people aren't going to have a whole lot of money. These are difficult times for a lot of people. So when people don't have money but still want to donate, still want to make a difference for the people in war-torn areas, do you have any ideas what they can do to make a difference? Is there anything that you can tell them inside of their influencership, inside of their impact, that isn't about giving money but is about making a difference to the world around them?
Well, I mean, that's a really hard question, but I'm going to say this. Just because you don't have money doesn't mean you don't know people who do have money.
Very good.
Right? So, maybe your job is to talk to your neighbor, talk to that aunt or uncle that really can help and, spread the word. I mean, that's what this is all about. Spread the word and try and find other people who could donate money. And also, money isn't the only valuable donation you can make. Time. You can give your time and you can help raise awareness. So there's a lot you can do. It's
true. So raising awareness is at least as valuable as raising money. I love this idea of spreading the word to the people in your life, even in your neighbors or your uncles or your friends or the parents of your friends. The next question I really want to ask you is, if someone comes in touch with someone who, in fact, is personally affected by war-torn Ukraine. So my wife is 100% Ukrainian, and she has family and friends over there. And I was just there a couple years ago visiting for a wedding. If someone comes across someone who's just like, devastated, they've lost some family members, or they just, maybe they're refugees and they show up in the same city, the same town. How should we deal with these people who have been war torn, who are displaced, who are now in an entirely new world? Do you have any ideas on how to welcome these people or how to give them our love? What can we do, and how can we do it?
Well, I think that each case is separate and individual and special. Just ask. I mean, that's the first thing I teach students at LEAP. The most powerful word in the English language only has 3 letters, ask.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you a little story. I developed an app a few years ago, and one of my app developers actually lived in the Ukraine. And as soon as this whole thing happened, I got in contact with him and I said, Dimitri, what can I do? How can I help you? And, they were in, the first few weeks that they didn't know how bad it would escalate. And they didn't, and unbeknownst to me, I hadn't spoken to him for a year. 9 months ago, he and his wife gave birth to triplets.
Whoa.
So he now has 9-month-old triplets, and he's living in a city that's being bombed 24 hours a day.
Wow.
And I said, Dimitri, get out. And if there's anything I could do, if I can sponsor you, if there's anything I can do to help you get out of there, get out. And he says, well, Doc, men under 60 aren't allowed to leave the country. He's 35. And they passed a law stating that men who are under 60 but have 3 or more children under the age of 10 could leave.
Wow.
So he and his wife loaded up their car with everything they could fit in their car. They took their triplets and all their paperwork. They went to the border. They were immediately allowed to pass into Poland. My ex-wife is German. And I said, go to Germany. I said, Germany is much friendlier and has a lot more money. And he did. And he's now in Germany. And the German government's giving him 2,000 euros a month to help support them. He's able to get a work permit. And I started finding projects that I could do and actually hire him. So he starts generating an income there.
That's fantastic.
So, I mean, and we all do a little something. So that was my little something that I'm doing. But, raising money goes to everybody. If you have personal connections or you have contacts there that you can do anything with, reach out to these people,
Really great. You know what? I think the example that what a supreme example. I love that. Amazing work, amazing conversation. And here's what I get, and I always get this with you, by the way, even just when the first time I saw you, is that what keeps your influencership really fresh, Bill, is that you are accountable for it, that you realize you have this reach and you are responsible and accountable for the fact that you do have a wide reach and that you can make a huge difference. That, even no matter how wide our reach is, being responsible for our reach and realizing that people are eager to hear us, people are here eager to share with us, and that we can make a difference today just being our true self, being authentic with people. It seems to me like your influencership grew or continues to grow because on the edges, you're still doing the work. You're not just a big guy chilling, smoking cigars in the corner. You're out there every day making a difference based on who you are as an influencer. I congratulate you for that and wonder if, and not only congratulate, just deep appreciation for you.
Thank you.
What can you say? Is there anything about that specifically you can say to the people with maybe, again, less influence than you in a broad way, but indeed influencers because they're walking the face of the earth today?
Yeah, never smoke cigars.
Mm-hmm. Love that from a dentist. Absolutely.
I mean, look, I tell dentists this all the time. You may not be a billionaire. You may not be a millionaire. But, as a dentist, call the battered women's shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Call, and just work on one person for free a year. If every dentist of the 200,000 dentists practicing dentistry today did that every year on just one person, what a huge difference that would make. And I'm not just talking to dentists. We each have something, right? Do that for one person. And like I said, if it's just a matter of giving your time, giving your heart, giving your advice, that's giving too. It doesn't have to be money.
Bill, it's been a real honor being with you this morning. And it's a deep honor that you said yes to be part of the summit. And I know you're going to be, continuing to make a difference in the summit and outside the summit every single day. You wake up with that non-10, you put a 10 on your forehead and get going. And I really appreciate you. I appreciate the impact you're making on the world. And I deeply appreciate you being part of the summit. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for standing up for what's right. Thanks for bringing your love for humanity forward. Thanks for being your true voice. Thanks for being Dr. Bill. It's really fabulous having you on the show.
Well, thanks for being Dr. Fred, and thanks for including me. I appreciate you, Fred.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, well, there you have it, and we are off, and we'll see you at the summit. How cool is this? Thanks, Bill.